Hello, everybody. Good evening and welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time it might be for you guys. Hello, welcome to another Sunday Night Live / Studio 15 Live. I hope everybody is okay, and I hope you've all had a great week. I have had a very good week and a very busy one, but I've also had a really great weekend. I've been away for the weekend, just took the wife and kids, we went out of town, and it was just really nice just to totally get away from everything, including my studio, and just basically not touch anything studio orientated for a whole weekend, which is great. So it was nice to get away. Hope you guys are doing really well. We've got 18 people here already, which is awesome. Thank you very much for coming. You guys are amazing as always, and all the regulars are here. Before we get started, tonight I made a wee promise that I would play a track for somebody. And that somebody is Bob Berder, who is here. He did a mix recently that was his first, I think it was his first professional job, and he asked me if I would check it out and listen to it and see what I thought. And I have listened to it several times and checked it out pretty thoroughly and decided, yes, I would play this, especially as Bob gave me a little bit of the backstory behind the artist and the song and what it's all about. And so I totally am up for playing a little bit of this song for you, a little bit of Bob's mix of this song for you. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the mix. So just give me 1 second to get this up. And I'm going to play it for you. Here we go.
I know your promise is still there alive. You still they hear the prayers of saints. Hear the word by your word. You know the line on, yes I know. Your promise is still there alive. You still may hear the prayers of saints. Hear the word by your word. Man, the sickness bow before you. Demons terrified. By your throat the blind can see. Hear the word by your word. Where the heavens open wide, waves of the healing come down. As we raise a voice to you, hear the word by your word. Man, a sickness bow before you. Demons terrified. By your touch the blind can see. Hear the word by your word.
You know that I love, yes I know.
Father, we know we have sinned against you,
Your promise is still there alive.
but you are a merciful God, Lord.
You still hear the prayers of
By the love you have shown to us over the years, heal us, O Lord, and heal your world. Amen.
So there we go. That was the song that Bob recently mixed, and he'd asked me to check it out. So I have some thoughts. First of all, I think the first thing I've got to say is you have done a fantastic job with that song. There's an awful lot going on in there. There's a lot of details, and there's a lot of different bits of counter melody from different instruments, as well as the main vocal, and then there's the backing vocals as well. You've done a really nice job with having those backing vocals nice and wide, and then when they drop out, it kind of, everything goes a little bit narrow again. So you kind of got that contrast between the kind of almost mono and then the wide out to stereo, which I really quite like that idea. I would say in that first verse, there's a little bit maybe of a conflict between the vocal and the trumpet sound. I think they're kind of getting in the way of each other because they're at the same pitch to start with. And so, and you know, his particular, I guess the frequency spectrum of his particular voice is fairly close, fairly similar to the trumpet in some respects. So you could maybe have done a little bit of complementary EQ to kind of get those two guys out of the way of each other. And you could certainly maybe have added a little bit more reverb maybe to the trumpet, so the trumpet kind of sits back a little bit, and you could certainly maybe have compressed the lead vocal a little bit to bring it a little bit more forward. But yeah, the backing vocals sound absolutely glorious. They really do. Some of the little counter melody things that are going on, like there's a little piano run that happens a couple of times, are a little bit buried, a little bit quiet. Those are the kind of things that are what I would call ear candy. So those are the kind of things that, even though there's no lead vocal at that point, you could kind of automate the volume of those kind of things up a little bit and then just tuck them back underneath when they're not the focus. But certainly those kind of little ear candy things could certainly do with popping through a little bit more, so that they grab the listener's attention that little bit more, because they are nice little tastes, nice little arranging ideas, and they could definitely do with just kind of getting a little bit more love, a little bit more focus. Could certainly do that. But overall, I think it sounds really good overall. It's a little bit, some of it is a little bit thin sounding. Now, I know that there are sections where the bass drops out completely, and so the bottom kind of collapses out of the mix at that point, obviously, because there's no bass. But yeah, you just kind of want to be careful of not high-passing too much. And it's something that we have all at some stage been a little bit guilty of at various stages in our mixing careers. We've been a little bit guilty of a little bit too much high pass filtering. I certainly have done it. I mean, for a long time, I certainly believed that you should high pass everything apart from kick drum and bass guitar, and high pass at around about 100 hertz. I certainly did believe that for quite a long time, until I kind of realized that it just kind of means that there is too much of a gap between my kick and my bass and everything else. There's too much separation between the low end and everything else. So, yeah, so kind of be careful about those kind of things. But I think essentially there's really good separation between all of the elements of the song, all the elements of the mix. The kick drum sounds pretty good. Snare drum sounds all right. Cymbals come through fairly well. The hi-hat gets a little buried, maybe. But yeah, it's overall a pretty good balance, a pretty good mix. The song is pretty good too. I like the lyrics. I like how upbeat it is. It's nice. It's a nice, joy-filled, happy song, given the subject matter. So there's a nice juxtaposition there, which I also find quite appealing. So an excellent job overall. And you say you mix these on the RS5s. I have the RS5s as well. And yeah, they are really good speakers. But I think maybe the weak points, if there is a weak point of the RS5s, the Generation 1 RS5s, is the low end. That's kind of where the weakness of those particular speakers is. I have a set of those, but when I'm making sure I'm parking, as I like to call it, the low end of my mix, I tend to use other monitors for that. And also, other monitors will kind of reveal things that the RS5s won't necessarily, especially if you're really, really used to them. So yeah, I would definitely recommend, if you're going to mix on just one set of speakers, that you at least check your mix as you're going through your process on either a set of these PreSonus HP7s, or another set of headphones will work well, or just, even if you've got like another set of cheaper computer speakers, you could certainly run them through those as well, because they will show up any issues that you might have with the mid-range. But to be fair, I don't think you have too many issues with the mid-range in this particular mix. Possibly your weak point is the low end a little bit, that you've kind of maybe chopped away a little bit too much. But again, it's otherwise a really, really great mix. It's a really well done job. It's a good effort, and I can see why your client was happy to take your mix and use it. And it's great. You told me in your email that it's had some airplay, which is great. So congratulations to you. That's a really great job. Well done. So there we go. I like getting those kind of emails. So if you guys have a song that you have mixed recently and there are no copyright issues with it, then please do send it to me, and I would love to do something like this regularly. Maybe once a month we'll do a show where we just do a whole bunch of these. So I would certainly like to do that if you guys are up for it. But yeah, if it's your own work or there are no copyright issues with the song, that would mean that this show gets demonetized or I get a copyright strike from YouTube or anything like that. I want to avoid those. So providing you have copyright clearance and all of that for your song, or if it's your own song, then definitely we can. I would like to do this a little bit more often. So there we go. I really enjoyed that, and I really enjoyed listening to the song over the last week or two as well. It's been really nice, and I played it for my wife. She really likes it as well. It's got a really nice vibe. So yeah, great job. All right, so let's see who we have here in tonight's show. John was first in the door. He went for cake, and then he came back and he ate it. Well done to John. Kyle is here, and Bob, of course, is here. Mike Neighbor's here, but he's just kind of listening in because he's doing some editing, which is cool. Tim is here, but says he can't stay long. Tim, happy to have you here for however long you're here. Ken is here. Good to see you, Ken. Lowenz is here. Tony is here. Bill Shepherd is also here, but he's driving, so drive carefully, please. Mika is here, offering some very, very sound advice. Photography Light and Magic is here, who says, "Hey guys," and Jonny. Do I not count as one of the guys anymore? I'm sad. No, I'm kidding. Who else do we have? Dwayne is here. We got 25 people in the room, which is awesome. We have had some amazing numbers of people watching this show, which I am thrilled about. So I'd love to break the 50 barrier. That would be great if we could actually have 50 people here watching. It would be awesome. So if you know people for whom you think this show would be really valuable, really helpful, really useful, then please do invite them. Tell them about the show. Send them a link to it and get them in here. And, if they have questions about Presonus or about Studio One or stuff like that, or songwriting or mixing or anything to do with audio and music production in general, then yeah, get them in here. Absolutely. Just Bob says, no headphones. I have a 3-foot by 6-foot space I'm mixing. Well, considering you've done that in a really small space, you've done a great job. Speaking as someone who formerly had a very small studio, mine was nowhere near as small as yours. My previous studio was an 8x9 little box room. And fortunately it was not square. It's kind of rectangular, sort of. Yeah, it was pretty much rectangular. So it served me well. I learned how to mix in a tiny little space for sure. But yeah, if you've done that in that small space, that's very impressive. Great job. Mika says, high-pass filtering overuse can turn your 3D mix into a 2D mix very quickly. That is absolutely spot on. That is absolutely spot on. It's a phase that we all kind of go through of overusing high-pass filtering when we discover it. The first thing we have is like too much bass, and then we discover high-pass filtering and we figure out, hey, I can roll all of that out. So you roll all of that out, and you end up rolling out too much. And then you kind of gradually, you figure out, hey, you don't have to have that much separation to get it to sound good. Mika says, it's very hard to judge the low frequency energy in your mix with small speakers and headphones. Producing such a good mix on Eris E5s is amazing. Yeah, it really is. You've done a great job, for sure. Absolutely. And, placement, where you've placed things in the stereo spectrum was really, really good as well. And for me, the highlight of the whole mix was the contrast between the verses where you had the vocal up the middle and, not a whole lot going on the sides. Everything was kind of mono to some degree. And then as soon as those backing vocals come in on the choruses, wow, the contrast. It was brilliant. It was really, really great. That was, for me, that's the probably the best part of the mix, really, for me. For sure. So great job. Just Bob says, I don't know how to sidechain. Wish it was easier on Studio 145. Bass was hard to control. Thank you, and to everyone for the feedback. Really appreciate it. Sidechaining is actually, in Studio 4.5, is actually quite easy. Because we introduced, in Studio 4.5, we introduced a new way of doing sidechaining, which is so easy, and it's in Studio 1.5 as well. So, it's really, really easy to actually set up a sidechain between the kick drum and the bass guitar, or anything that you need to sidechain for any song, really. It's so much easier. It's so easy to do. So on this channel, there is a series called Studio 4.5, and in that video series, there is a video where I show what we kind of call the reverse sidechaining feature, and it just makes sidechaining so easy. Anybody can do it now, in my opinion. So there we go. And Ken and Mike Neighbor are sharing quotes from You Got a Friend in Me from Toy Story, which I think is hilarious. There we go. All right, so tonight's show really kind of I wanted to open it with that because I want to encourage you guys to submit more of your mixes, more of your songs for me to check out, and we can share them here on the show, and you guys can feed back, and we'll make this a group effort. You know, it's not just about me telling you what I think, but in the chat, you know, go for it, guys, as you have done here tonight. It's been very, very cool, very, very valuable for Bob to have you all kind of chiming in like that. So yeah, we will do a regular show like this. So I would like to do it once a month, at least to start with, kind of see how it goes and see kind of what kind of uptake there is. So if you are interested in submitting your song or your mix of somebody else's song, whatever it might be, then please do send it to Jonny at jonnylipshamstudios.co.uk and just kind of title it or, you know, put in the subject part of your email something along the lines of, I don't know, something along the lines of, here's my mix for the mix review show. I don't know what to call this show, so you guys in the chat can maybe come up with a catchy little name for this particular show. Sorry, I have a really itchy nose. Hang on. Oi, oi, oi. I'm actually trying to hold back a sneeze. So yeah, go for it, guys. See if you can come up with a catchy name for this particular once a month show that we might do. Maybe we call it Mix Review or something like that. So if you're up for it, then please do send me your mixes or your songs. And if you want me to review your song and just look at your song from a songwriting point of view rather than a mixing point of view, I can do that too. So whichever way you guys want to go with it, I'm happy to take it in that direction. Otherwise, we are approaching the halfway point in the show, and I'm going to turn it over to you guys now for any questions you might have about Studio One 5, or if there is an issue that you are experiencing that you would like me to investigate a little bit more, then please do that. Stick your comments in the chat just now, and we'll look at those. So if you have any questions about Studio One 5 or a feature that you don't quite understand that you would like me to look at, I can do that. I have Studio One 5 open right now in the background and can very easily just flip over to it, and we can look at whatever it is that you guys want to look at. So if you have a question, get it in the chat, and I'd be happy to answer it, whatever that might be. And I'll play some nice little jazz chords whilst I'm waiting. Mika says, can you show just Bob how to sidechain in Studio One 4.5? I can. It's exactly the same in Studio One 5, so I can show you it in Studio One 5. Let me see. Let me just open up. Let me see which song shall I open up? By this one. Alrighty. Yeah, this one will do it. And we'll go over. Here we go. So this is a demo that I actually set up a while back for kind of like doing your kind of fairly, it is so stereotypical, this kind of like the sidechaining the kick drum to a kind of bass sound to get that kind of deliberate pumping thing going that you might have for EDM or something like that. And I'm going to show you how to do that. But first of all, I'm going to play you the end result and work backwards, show you how to do it. So this is what it sounds like. Okay, so that's what it sounds like with the compressor working. But if I was to turn the compressor and the send to the compressor off, this is what it sounds like. Which is not that great to listen to, let's face it. Let's actually turn the Mai Tai down just a fraction because we are clipping a little bit. So yeah, it doesn't sound that great. And I'm going to show you how to set this all up. Now, the old way that you would do this, let's actually just remove everything, shall we? Let's remove everything. And we'll start from scratch. The old way of doing it, you would go over to your effects, and you'd go and grab your compressor, and we're going to put the compressor on the Mai Tai because this is our bass sound. This is what we want to compress. But we want to use the kick drum, or yeah, the kick drum from this track here to trigger it. So I am going to increase the ratio by quite a bit, drop the threshold by quite a lot because I want to exaggerate this. And then what we would do is, having set this up, you can see there's this little sidechain thing here. The old way of doing it would be you'd press the plus sign on the sends here, and then you go to sidechains, and then you'd select this. That's a couple of clicks. And it takes just that little bit longer to set up, especially if you've got lots of these sidechains to set up. Let's say you're sidechaining a guitar and you're ducking the rhythm guitar behind the vocals. So every time the vocal sings, the acoustic guitar ducks behind, but whenever the vocal is not singing, the acoustic guitar comes back up. That's another application of sidechaining. Or another one would be, let's say you have a delay on your vocal that you really like, but when the vocal is singing, the delay kind of swamps the vocal a bit. Well, you can sidechain you can put a compressor on your delay effects channel and then sidechain that to the vocal so that every time the vocal sings, it compresses and turns down the delay. So the delay doesn't get heard until the vocal stops. So what you end up getting is the tail of the delay rather than kind of like the immediate delay happening when the vocal is singing. And that way it kind of gives you that little bit of clarity between the vocal and the delay. I now do, this is something I now do quite a lot with vocals and ambient effects like delays and reverbs. I'll sidechain them so that when the vocal is singing, those ambient effects get kind of pushed back and then they come up when the vocal is not singing. And it just kind of allows for that little bit more space for the vocal to come through. But in this case, we're not doing this. We're doing some pumping compression on this bass sound. So the quick and easy way to do it, and this is the new way to do it as of Studio One 4.5, is we go to this sidechain button and we click on this sources arrow. And in this, because there are only 2 tracks, there is only one other source. And then we select that. And as you can see, it automatically creates the send. And the send level is automatically set at 0 dB. So now when I play this track, it's kind of doing its thing, and I can exaggerate it a little bit more, actually, so the effect is a little bit more dramatic. You see how that's kind of working? So every time the kick drum, or yeah, particularly the compressor is responding most to the kick drum. Every time the kick drum hits, the compressor turns down the bass sound on the Mai Tai. And that's kind of how sidechaining works. And you can apply this on a whole bunch of different things, not just kick drums and bass sounds, but you can, as I say, you can do this with vocals and ambient effects. You can do this with guitars. You can, you know, if you want to duck a piano down a little bit out of the way of a tenor saxophone taking a solo in a jazz tune, again, you can sidechain it just a hair. I mean, you wouldn't go this extreme. You'd maybe have it so it's just tapping the piano down just a little bit. Every time the tenor sax player starts to play, it just taps the piano down just a little bit. So there's a whole massive range of applications for sidechaining, which is very, very cool. And it's so easy now with this little sidechain and sources thing. And the cool thing is, if I had more channels and more tracks available, you'd see them listed here, and I could select multiple sources for this compressor if I wanted to, which is very, very cool to be able to do that and just do it in one move. Basically, just go tick, 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 tick. That's all my sources connected to this compressor. And so anytime any of those sources are doing anything, the compressor is going to trigger and is going to compress my bass sound. So you can do that really, really easily. So I hope that was helpful. Bob, if you're still here, I hope that you are. So there you go. That was a very, very cool little thing with ambient effects. Greg Covington says, do you have an example of the sidechaining of the vocal with the reverb? I have an example of it with the delay. I can certainly bring that up. If you just give me 1 second, I will go and grab another song that I have. And I'll bring that up as soon as it opens. I need to get the mixer open so you can see what I'm looking at. So in this song, this is a completely different song, but and a completely different style of song altogether. But in this instance, I need to scoot over here because I've done everything on my buses, because this is how I mix. I am pretty much, for the most part, a top-down mixer. So what I have here is I have a sidechain compressor on this analog delay. So every time the vocal sings, if I just drop in on bar 9 here, as soon as the vocal kicks in, it will compress the delay and reduce the sound of the delay, and then the delay will come up a little bit. I have the delay relatively buried because it's something I like to be felt rather than heard. That's just kind of my preference for delays on vocals. Some people like it much more obvious, like Graham Cochran likes his delays really, really obvious. I don't. I like them to be something felt rather than heard. All right, so here we go. Everything's against me, my back against the wall. All right, so I'm going to solo up this vocal bus here, and I'm going to drop it in at the same point. And as soon as the vocal comes in, you'll see the yellow line compressing this analog delay channel. Here it comes. When everything's against me, my back against the wall. Holding all the words, cards I feel 2 feet tall. I'll stand and shout, no holding back. You see how the repeats of the delay, when the compressor lets go of the delay, they come much further forward, and they become much louder. And what this does for me is it just keeps the delay kind of out of the way of the vocal a bit, but still provides me the effect that I want, which is a sense of space. And I tend to have like a little bit of delay, a little bit of reverb as well. And that's kind of how how I have my vocal chain. My vocal chain has kind of grown and developed and changed over the years. I used to like really, really dry vocals. Now I'm not really that much of a fan of really dry vocals unless the song calls for it. Like if I really want something really intimate sounding, then yeah, I'll go for completely dry vocals, no reverbs, no delays, no nothing. But yeah, for the most part, this is kind of like my vocal chain. So I hope that was helpful. Let me just play that one more time so you can hear the delay duck down. When everything's against me, my back against the wall, holding all the words, cards I feel 2 feet tall. All right, so there you go. I hope that helps. And we'll go back over to the chat. I hope that helps you, Greg. So let's see, what else do we have? Loens asks, if I scrap my computer, can I regain that license? Which license are you talking about? Are you talking about your TV license or your Studio One license? If you're talking about your activation on your computer and you get rid of that computer, yes, you go to your my.presonus.com account and you select your Studio One product from the software, from product software, find your Studio One product, whether that's Studio One 4 or Studio One 5, and there's a little button there that says manage activations, and you click on that and it shows you which computers, your license for Studio One has been activated on, and then you can just remove whichever one it is that you don't use anymore. For example, my old Windows 7 machine is sat over here it's just parked up against the wall. I don't use that computer anymore. So I went in and removed the activation from that computer so that, I'm back to, instead of 2 activations, I have 1. And that means I've got 4 left if I need it, which I'm in the hunt for a new laptop so that I can do Studio One meetups, which I've done a couple of now, but I want to be able to do when lockdown ends and we're able to go back to meeting up in actual places, actual venues. I would like to meet people for real rather than on Zoom, and be able to use my laptop so that we can look at Studio One stuff. Studio One meetup. So I'm in the hunt for a new laptop, so I will use one of my activations on that laptop. So if that's what you're talking about, Lawrence, I hope that helps. So yeah, just remove your activation for Studio One. And actually, I would even say if you have multiple activations for your third-party plugins as well, I would do that as well. I would remove that computer from all of your third-party plugin activations if your vendor allows that. If the manufacturer of that plugin allows that, definitely I would recommend doing it. Hope that helps. And let's see. Just Bob says, okay, makes sense. I use a third-party plugin on bass that really helped. In my ears, mind, separate and unmuddy. I can totally see the advantage of Sidechain and now see how to use it. Yeah, it is really, really helpful. And even if not in that kind of wanting that deliberate pumping sound, which, for a song like the one that you've just mixed, you won't want that kind of sound. But you might want, the kick drum to just tap the bass, the bass guitar just a little bit, so that the two are kind of out of the way of each other. It's a fairly standard technique for pop and rock music, to do that, to have the kick drum tap the bass guitar or the other way around, just to duck it just slightly, tuck it underneath the kick drum just a little bit. And we're not talking much. We're talking maybe a couple of dB. So that every time the kick drum plays, the bass guitar, I can't speak anymore. Every time the kick drum is struck, the bass guitar ducks just a couple of dB. And it's just enough just to get that little bit of separation between the two. So yeah, I hope that helps. And yes, if you are into techno and dance and EDM and all of that kind of stuff, then yes, you want that big pumping kind of thing going on, for sure. Can you show the difference between having compressor before or after the delay? Can I show the difference between... I'm not sure that... Well, the thing with sidechaining the delay and having a compressor duck the delay, you want the compressor before the delay so that the compressor ducks, the compressor compresses the delay itself. So you want the compressor first on the channel. I think, let me just check. Have I got that? Have I got it set up like that? Yes, I do. I have the compressor first and then the delay. So the compressor is acting on the delay first rather than after the delay. But I mean, I can, by all means, I can switch them round. Let's maybe do that and see if it actually makes a difference. All right, so let's play this way around. When everything's against me, my back against the wall. All right, and now let's move this guy above, and let's see if that makes a difference. When everything's against me, my back against the wall. Holding all the words, cards I feel 2 feet tall. And let's put it back the other way around. When everything's against me, my back against the wall. Not sure it made a massive, to my ears anyway, not sure it made a massive amount of difference having the compressor before it or after it. But I just like it that way round. But yeah, maybe it doesn't make a whole ton of difference particularly. But yeah. Good question, though. Good question. I like good questions. And that was definitely one of them. Bobby Boo with the $5. Thank you very much. Appreciate it a lot. Greg says thank you for helping answer his question as well. Thomas is here in the Philippines. Hello, Thomas. Good to see you. He says good morning. Good morning to you, my friend. Hope you are doing well. It is 1:45 in the morning here in Scotland. Photography Light and Magic says, can I connect my laptop to my main computer with Studio One remote? No, I don't think you can. Studio One remote does not work like that. But you could use TeamViewer maybe, or something like that. But I don't think you can. I'm not sure that you can run Studio One remote on your laptop. Maybe you can. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. But one thing I do know is I have Studio One remote on my phone. Let me just crank it up. And if I select my computer, there we go. I have Studio One remote on my phone. Don't know how well you can see that. But I can certainly, hit the play button. Let me turn off the colors. There you go. When everything's against me, my back against the wall. And that's all done from my phone. It's very, very cool. Hang on just a second. I need to try and get out of that. There we go. Yeah, so I have it running on my phone, and I can control Studio One from my phone. I mean, I can be... our toilet, our downstairs toilet, we have two. Our downstairs toilet is right next door to the studio, and I can be in my studio... I can be in the toilet and I can be mixing whilst I'm on the toilet. And operating Studio One from here. Obviously, I can't really hear it very well because the sound is just going to go out the door that way. And by the time it gets to me, it's going to be collapsed to mono. I'm not going to be able to really hear what's going on, but I can certainly control transport, and I can effectively mix from being sat on the toilet. That definitely works. But yeah, I believe it's only meant for Android or Apple devices or tablets, those kind of things. I don't think it's really designed to run on a Windows or a Mac operating system. So there you go. Hope that helps. Michael Johnson with the $5 donation. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That is very cool and very kind of you both to do that. Both you and Bobby. That's awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it a lot. Bobby says, like Mike says, only phones and tablets. Yeah, that's about all it does. Yeah, it's not really designed to connect one computer to another. However, that said, on my Mac over here, I have Studio One 5 running as well. And I can switch between the two. So I can control Studio One on the Mac or Studio One on the PC from the same device, because it'll detect both. So that works really well. But yes, you can totally control Studio One from a tablet, from a phone, from an iPad. Those kind of devices. It works really well. And actually, it's really great if, for example, if I'm standing at the back, towards the back of the room with my mic set up for recording a vocal, and I'm working on one of my songs and I'm on my own, then using this is really, really cool. It is so cool to be able to just stand at the back and just go, right, record. And there we go. Sideways Audio says, Studio One Remote is available for Windows if you want to use a laptop. The download is on the Persona site. That's interesting to note. Well, I wasn't sure about that at all. But we can go check it out. See if I can find Studio One Remote. Studio One Remote. Tech specs. Yeah, here you go. Here are the tech specs for the Studio One Remote. So Apple iPad, iPad 2, iPad mini are newer. iOS 8 or later. It is compatible with Surface 3 and higher, and Surface Pro 2 and higher. Windows 10 or later. Windows RT is not supported. Minimum 2 gigs RAM. Must be an x86 compatible, not ARM based, not ARM based. Android tablet running Lollipop or higher. Minimum screen resolution of 1024 by 768. Studio One Professional 3.2 or later. Or Studio One Artist 5.0 and later. So there you go. That's all the details. So it does work on Windows. But yeah. There you go. Hope that helps. So it works best on one of these kind of devices. But yeah, it's very cool. Hope that helps. Let's see, where am I? I'm over here. Let's see. Ski Jump Toes is here. Says, hi Johnny, I'm working on a new MCU device mapping and been asked to put it on Personas Exchange, but there's no info on creating a .install file. Any ideas if there's a help page on it? That's a great question, and to one that I don't know the answer. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. I recommend that you create a support ticket, and I will make sure that it gets to one of my colleagues who'll be able to give you the answer. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure how you do it, but I'm pretty sure there is a way to do it. So you can do it. But yeah, create a support ticket, and if you are on Facebook, let me know what the ticket number is. I'll make sure it gets to the right person who can give you the right answer. Off the top of my head, I'm not entirely sure how you do it, but there is definitely a way to do it. Because there are macros and all sorts of other things on Exchange, so there must be a way to create a .install file. So I'll find out for you. If you create a support ticket and let me know what the number is, I'll see what I can find out for you. Photography Light Magic says, does it need to have a touch screen? I think that probably helps. Bobby says I have to try that on my other 2 laptops. Cool. Just Bob says the remote app is great for those that do not have or cannot afford a fader port 8 or 16. I totally agree with that. If you've got a reasonably good sized tablet or iPad, then yes, it will work just like a fader port, except you won't have physical faders. You'll just be kind of using the touch screen to move the faders with your fingers. So yes, definitely a good alternative. Ski jump toes. Hang on 1 second. I need to get my notebook. My notepad, rather. So I can make note of that ticket number. So you've already put in a ticket. Okay. Has anyone contacted you yet? I've copied your ticket number. Has anyone actually contacted you on that ski jump? Has anyone actually answered your ticket yet? I guess that kind of depends when you put the ticket in. If you put the ticket in today, then you won't get an answer until tomorrow, because support doesn't operate on the weekends. It is Monday to Friday. Because we have to have some time off, you know. So yeah, Monday to Friday. So if you don't hear anything from anybody on the weekend, it's because no support over the weekends. Technically, actually, support really is supposed to be 9 to 5 Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 Central Time Monday to Friday. But because I am based in Scotland, I work through the night for you American folks until lunchtime. That's kind of when I work. Okay, no one has. Okay, that's cool, but I think it needs someone who understands Exchange. Yes, I know exactly who will be able to answer that for you. I'll grab that ticket myself tomorrow, and I will get the right person to give you an answer. Okay, so one of us will contact you probably tomorrow at some point, tomorrow or Tuesday. All right, so I hope that that's okay for you. I know just the person who will be able to answer that question. Who knows this kind of stuff inside and out. So you'll be good. We'll get you squared away. All right, we are at 5 minutes before the end of the show. So if anybody has one last quick question, I will answer it. And we have 31 people here, which is fantastic. So if you have watched the show, any length of it, whether it's 10 seconds of it or the whole hour of the show, please hit the like button. If you are not a subscriber to my channel as yet, please do hit the subscribe button and hit the dinger. And so make sure when you hit that notification bell that you select all notifications. That way you'll get all my notifications for anything I do on my channel. So that includes any community posts which I put up, and I do put some up from time to time. And live streams you'll get notifications of, new videos which you'll get notifications of. I have been taking a little bit of a break from making tutorial videos whilst we've been on lockdown, because I've had to concentrate on being able to give some time to homeschooling my kids whilst they've been off school and also doing my job working at Presonus as well. But my kids are going to be going back to school next week. Yay! So that means there'll be a little bit more peace and quiet around here, and I can start getting back to making some more tutorial content. So that would be awesome to be able to do that. I'm really looking forward to getting back into making weekly videos. So on that point of weekly videos, if you guys have a subject or a feature that you would like me to make a video on in Studio One 5 or anything in Persona Sphere, then please do drop me an email or a Facebook message, and I would like to compile a list of videos that you guys want to see. Not just videos that I want to make, but videos that you want to see that are going to be helpful to you guys. Because that's what this show is all about. That's what my channel exists for. It exists for you guys. This is not just about me kind of making videos to make a name for myself, because I'm not into that at all. I didn't create my channel to make a name for myself. I created my channel to teach and educate and promote Studio One and Presonus products. That's why I created the channel way back in 2013, 14. So, that's what it's about. So if you have anything that you want a video made on to do with Studio One, then please do drop me an email and I will make that video. I'd like to make a list, and I'd like to have a good number of videos to be able to do it. Ken, thank you so much, buddy. Thanks so much for the extra $5 there. That is awesome. Mike Neighbors says, since I have 2 computers in my studio, I tried the remote access from the installer on the website. I have connectivity. I'm controlling Studio One from my other computer. Awesome. Well, that's very cool. Thank you. Ken says, just watched your old live stream on Loopback today, and it helped tremendously in setting that up on my new Studio 24. Yay! Awesome. Glad to hear it. Ski Chump says, I saw Joe Gilder mention there being an Irish Presonus office. Is that who you work with? I'm officially employed for human resources purposes and tax and everything else. I'm employed by Presonus Europe, which is the Ireland office. Joe is absolutely correct. But my immediate line management is based in the United States. So I work for Presonus Audio Electronics, but my payroll and everything else is dealt with by the Ireland office. So there you go. George says, why is your show once a week only? My show is once a week only because I'm too busy during the week to do a daily show. Like Jonny Gibe does a daily show. He does a daily show every night at 6 p.m. Central Time over on the Home Studio Trainer channel. If you've not seen it, go check it out. He does a show every night. I don't have the time to do that. I really don't. With working for Presonus full time and running Jonny Lipsham Studios as a business, which I do. This is my business. This is my work. This is my job. I don't really have time for doing a regular nightly live stream. I just don't. It suits Jonny perfectly because, of the way his job works. It affords him time to be able to do his show, whereas mine really doesn't. So sorry about that. Bobby Booth says, how do we take off the software when our subscription runs out on Persona Sphere? That is a good question, and the answer to that is anything that you have as a result of your membership of Persona Sphere will be deactivated when you cancel or when your subscription runs out and you choose not to renew it. So if you have Studio One 5 Professional and all of the add-ons and everything else that comes with Studio One 5 Professional, all of that will be deactivated. Notion 6 will be deactivated along with all of the sound libraries that come with Notion. They will all be deactivated. And any of the software bundles from the Persona shop, which are also in your Persona Sphere account, they will all get deactivated. Everything will get switched off. Fundamentally, that's how it works. It's the same way that, kind of when you take out a membership to a gym, being a member of the gym gives you right to use any of the equipment in the gym, and also to use the cafe or the vending machines in the gym, or to go in the pool anytime you want, right? So in the same way, when you cancel that membership, all of that goes away. You don't have the access to the equipment. You don't have the ability to go in the cafe whenever you want, or to go in the pool whenever you want, just by showing your membership card. All of that goes away, and you have to go and purchase stuff instead. So it's the same thing with Persona Sphere. It's a membership in the same way. As soon as your membership runs out, and you choose to just let it lapse, everything gets deactivated. But if you decide at a later date, hey, actually, maybe I want to go back to Persona Sphere, then you just, you start paying your membership again, and everything gets reactivated. So that's how that works. So I hope that answers that question. So there you go. I've answered 3 little questions. And Just Bob says, title show for mixed reviews. Let's mix it up. I like that. That's good. Thank you. Please drop me that in an email, because once it's gone out of this chat, I will forget it, I'm afraid. So there we go. We are a little bit over time, but we've not... I'm trying to keep as strict to an hour as I possibly can tonight. The last couple of nights, I've let it run for an extra sort of 15, 20 minutes. But tonight, I want to be strict, because I have a very busy day ahead of me tomorrow, and I need my beauty sleep. So thank you to all 30... Where do we get to? We got to 32. That was our peak. So all 32 of you, thank you very much. And a big extra special thank you to Bobby Booth, Mike Johnson, and Ken Moss for the donations, the very generous donations. I appreciate that very much. David Anthony says, can you revert back to Studio One 4? Yes, you can. If you already have Studio One 4 before you became a member of Persona Sphere, then that will always be in your account. Your Sphere account will go away, and your my.personas.com account will come back. And anything that was in that account already, predating it, will be there. So your Studio One 4 license will be there. But Studio One 5 will be gone, and anytime on your computer you try to open Studio One 5, it'll give you a warning message and say, yeah, you don't have a subscription to use this product, and that kind of thing. All right, so I hope that answers that question. And I'm going to, on that note, wish everybody a very good night. Thank you for coming. Thank you for all the great questions, and thank you for the donations. Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody.